And we're just finishing off the welds. There you go, nice and strong. Right, I'm on my own now and I'm going to be painting the jig. There's a reason why we this brace across the legs there, it's bolted, it's not welded. There's a reason for that, because you need to undo the legs, separate them so you can get the top frame off when you want to break it down and keep it in the corner of the workshop. So that's why they're bolted and not welded. Ingenious. So painting it a nice bright colour helps us all to distinguish between the jig and the actual piece we're working on. It's a bit time consuming, but it's worth it in the long run. Right, welcome back to another episode of Smart Welding UK. And I've been given the enviable task of painting the jig, the bulkhead jig for the Series 1 Land Rover. The reason we paint them is we paint them in bright colours. That helps us to distinguish between the actual jig and the actual product that we're working on. So I hope you enjoyed this episode and watch me and Tim slowly rebuild this Series 1 Land Rover bulkhead. Great, so we're starting on one end anyway. We're cutting the pillar out of one end because we've actually got whole replacement pillars. So we've cut it away, and there it is. There's the old pillar with a bit of floor pan still built in. That's very rusty. He didn't come out as easy as we thought he was going to come out, did he, Tim?
Certainly not. There's hidden spot welds here and there, so took a minute to figure it out, but we got there in the end.
So we've got some repairs to do here before we attach the new pillar. There's a piece coming up here that's missing, that's corroded off, so that's got to be replaced. And then we can put in this front panel, which is just there. Pop him on there, Tim. New front panel there, look. Brilliant.
Right guys, Dave has popped a towel, and this is the problem with reproduction parts. We have a mounting point here from the original pillar, the one we've just cut off, and we have a mounting point here, and the panel that goes across the bottom of the windscreen, across the top of the bulkhead, was sitting a bit high, and we couldn't figure out why. But if you look here, we were actually an entire bolt hole out. So the pillar is about 12 mil shorter than the original. So we're going to have to do something with this, possibly cut these original welds here, sand it all off, move this bracket up and weld it back on. But we'll get back to that at a later date. Right, continuing, I have left the pillar alone for the minute because I'd like Dave to see it and make a decision. We have got somewhere here all the parts to be able to build a completely new pillar. So I'll see if Dave wants to modify the pillars that he brought that are already welded up, or whether we start with new ones. So I've just cut out the tunnel, transmission tunnel sort of footwell, if you like. That one's got some corrosion and just new. So I'm currently mocking up all the parts for the new footwell, but it is extremely tricky because I've got to drill holes for plug welds, and everything's got to go in a certain order. It's not a case of just put it in and tack it. It's really thinking about it. I have got some repair work to do right here. I'll have to make up a section and cut away all this rust and replace that. And also underneath this piece there is quite a lot of corrosion there. It's supposed to come out and around and along here, so I've got quite a large piece I've got to make there, and it's got to be that sort of angle as well. So quite a lot of work to be done. I will update you when I've done a bit more.
Right, so we're modifying these pillars.
It's still very warm. Burn my fingers. Everything the right way around now. Space on the floor. Why is it when you're rushing, it never goes to plan? Down. And,
That's looking better.
make sure everything's the right way around.
Mm.
Which works better for the gutter there.
That's perfect. That fits a lot better.
Get that one tacked in place and
That looks right as well, doesn't it? That looks right.
yeah.
When you push that in there, that just looks like it.
It fits.
That's a perfect
much
fit.
better than it used to.
Yeah. Awesome. That's that then, isn't it?
Yep.
Couple of mil out still.
Yeah, still a couple of mil out.
Is 2 mil going to be an issue?
It's a 1950s Land Rover, so I'm doubting it.
I know, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Yet to square this up though, so that
There's gaps in the door you could pull a rabbit through.
well, I've never heard before.
I know, I just made it up.
So yeah, that one's slightly out of square, so you've got to square this one up anyway. Which might just adjust it a little bit. There's so many things to think about when you're trying to... Ooh. We got golden.
Really?
Yep.
Excellent.
Anyone who does welding will know. 2 seconds after you set the welder up, your leads will immediately become tangled. Attacking that. Very nice. Try that again. That's better. Health and safety. Welding helmet.
Yeah. Which you've got on, obviously,
Oh yeah.
because the camera's not on you.
Yeah.
But obviously you are wearing a full face 3M welding mask and gloves, gauntlets
Brought to you by
to cover up all your skin.
Yeah, and I've got long sleeves on.
You've got all that on, haven't you?
Yeah. Put on some factor 50 before we came in.
Yeah.
Sun is shining.
What are you doing now, Tim?
Just trying to figure out where all the panels go before we start welding anything in. Because I can guarantee if I weld something in, I'll have to cut it out again to replace the panel.
Yeah.
Or to fit another panel.
So you're using these repair pieces as well?
Yep. Which is tucked away in there, and you see we've got all these plug welds, which if I weld through there, it's going to be a bit of a pain if I've got to drill it out again to adjust something. So I think next step will probably be to repair this mess there. And that should allow us then to start on the footwell.
Yeah, the whole footwell, yeah.
But also we've got to drill holes for the plug welds, so it's figuring out where they go. And obviously this has got paint on it, it's got some stuff that's a bit rusty with the boiled linseed oil, so it's all got to be cleaned up before you can weld to it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of thinking involved.
That's what you're good at. That's why you're here.
You're the first person to say that. So yeah, we'll figure it out. It never goes as quick as it should, but...
Right, this is the original windscreen dashboard cross member. This is the new one. It's been remanufactured. It's like a tray that goes across the top of the bulkhead, and that's where it meets the bottom of the windscreen. And the reason why they rot out is because there's a cavity in there, designed with a cavity, and the sort of nasty water sits in there and then just rots through. So this is completely perforated. But anyway, this is side by side in the right position. There's the nuts there. I think that's for the windscreen wipers, but can't be certain. So don't quote me on that. It's for something anyway. There's two. There's a set there as well. But it comes with this dividing piece in the middle, support, which was on there like that, which I've managed to persuade off. Just had some, what did it have? Rivet, what are they called?
Mine's gone blank. Spot welds.
Spot welds. Yeah, so just had 3 spot welds there, so we've got it off. Unfortunately, the top of it's all corroded away, and I think it comes up to about there. So we've got a section missing really, so we're going to try and remanufacture this somehow. So we'll show you how we get on with that in the future. So here it is in situ, that's what it looks like, and it's obviously snapped off because it's all corroded. But we're thinking now, instead of making a replacement, which would be very difficult and time consuming, Tim reckons he can grind that down, fill it with weld and grind it off. You reckon you could do that, Phil? Simon? Tim? What's the matter with me? Where did I get all those names from?
I have no idea. I reckon I could do that. I might only be a whippersnapper, but
Tim thinks he
I've
can
been
do
doing it
that.
for 12 years. So.
Tim can do it. Tim can do it. That's our new slogan. Yeah,
I'll put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Tim can do it. Right.
Sell the merch.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I think that's what we're going to do then. Tim's going to have a go at welding that back on. Here's another angle. So it's all corroded around the bottom, which it was obviously full of water. It was obviously full of water and it's corroded. It didn't help that this hole's been drilled through it here, which is aftermarket. And I suspect that was probably the washer bowl, the jet for the windscreen washer. Because it didn't have one originally. It had the Tudor bottle, which I think was an aftermarket add-on that you could buy, and I think that's where they put the jet through there. So if they hadn't drilled that hole and put the jet through, it wouldn't have leaked, and we wouldn't be having this conversation now. So where Tim's been cutting through there, old rusty bit we thought had nothing left to it, it's actually taking a long time to cut out.
There's a few spot welds possibly holding it on.
I didn't trip. Workshop tidiness.
I'm a messy worker.
Bits keep falling off.
It's a growing pile of rust on the floor.
Do you know we've got our first panel on? Look at that. Yeah, the first panel on the first footwell panel. Wow. Slowly but surely. Oh, Tim. Oh,
Not too bad, is it?
beautiful.
A little bit more fit in, get it fitting up a little bit better.
Lush. Well done.
The piece that was there is non-existent. I don't know whether it had any holes in it, so we're going to have to
Right.
look into that.
Spot welds. Well, we're plug welding, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're, well, we haven't mentioned this, but this was also put together with spot welds. Well, we don't have access to a spot welder at this stage, so we're just plug welding, which is just as good. And what that means is you drill holes in, you butt it up to whatever you're welding it to. So you've got holes drilled in here, and you just weld through, so you catch the surface of the one piece and weld it onto the other piece. That explains it, sort of.
Fill the hole with weld.
Fill the hole with weld, yeah, there you go. And that is beautiful. Look at that.
Bit gappy, but you know, what's a welder for?
Yeah, there you go. Right.
We'll have to beat this around a little bit, get it as flush as possible.
Yeah.
And then we'll work our way along and see what we can do.
So the trick is not to do too many because you'll melt it or distort it. So it's lots of little tacks. Perfect. Right, so just for extra protection, we're going to coat and treat any areas that are left with a rust prevention. So I don't know if I've mentioned before, but I got this dipped, acid dipped. Yeah, I have mentioned it before, I remember now. And then when I got it back from the dippers, because it was obviously bare metal, then I gave it a liberal dousing of boiled linseed oil. And this is all the mucky sort of sticky stuff that you can see on it now, and that's been protecting it ever since. Right, that's the end of today's repairs. Hope you enjoyed watching it, and tune in for the next episode. Thank you.